I think a lot of people fear that with the rise of automation and stuff like that, a lot of people will lose their jobs. And a lot of people define their value based on what the contribution they make to society. If they aren't working, if they aren't adding value, what does that mean? What am I to give? What's my purpose?
The product of your output, the Marxist species being.
Right. So I think one of the things I want to bring to you is with all the automation and with robotics and stuff, kind of changing the actual kind of labor landscape. And let's say that, there's a sci-fi show on Netflix called The Expanse, and Earth is 50% unemployed, Is this going to cause a crisis of kind of meaning? And this crisis of meaning, could this potentially be kind of a risk to civilization itself, with this many people not having a sense of kind of purpose and focus, which they get from their work?
I think we need to really be careful about how much we think this is going, or how fast these things are going to impact us, because some of them are going to go much faster than we think, and others much slower. It's a bit like the flying car. And so the moment for us to have robots all over our house, etc., is not tomorrow, even if we can technically do it, and even if we could economically finance it. The things that where I focus my attention, and I'm very much in the same lineage, if you want, as someone like Max Tegmark, where we can craft the future with machines, knowing that in some cases we want to embrace, and be part of the machine or with the machine. In other cases, so it's not an and. So it's not an or. It's an and, effectively, where we have a segregation between us and the machine. So it's an ecosystem where all these things are going to be playing together, a bit like TV and radio, or TV did not erase radio. So I think we're going to have the multiplicity of scenarios that are going to come about, and different layers of sophistication of technology that penetrate our lives over different spans of time. The main question I have is around inequality. And let's say that if we don't empower people to take advantage of this next leap of technologies, or the fourth industrial revolution, then we're going to see not just the unemployment question, but also the failure to redesign the purpose of the living man. And I think there's an exponential and unlimited capacity for humans to do interesting things, but we're at the threshold where if we're inactive, then I think it will be a real problem.
You bring up a very interesting point, because the value of your output, or as we see our schools cutting the budgets for the arts, it seems that with the increase in automation, we might have an opportunity to have a new renaissance artistically, where we could not have to do labor, as we think of it, but people could explore their artistic side more. That's what machines may free us up to do. But we seem to be minimizing the value of that as we're getting this opportunity. It's
and realistically too, let's
Right.
be clear and let's be frank about this. When this does happen and we see this, it's going to be the haves and the have-nots, right? Who can afford the car that drives itself? Who can afford this amazing AI machine? And so we have to be particularly careful that we already see people who are, especially in the United States where I live, who feel disenfranchised, who feel not connected, who aren't getting access to great health care and education. So again, by doing this, which I'm not saying will not happen, I think this is the future, and I think we have to find a way to embrace the technology and do it thoughtfully and carefully. But we are going to see a huge part of the population, especially in third world countries, who are going to have simply no access. What does that mean to them? And for people who want to live with compassion and want to nurture people and include people, we have to be very thoughtful that there are built-in things for people who will never have access to some of this sophisticated technology that we will take for granted and we will enjoy the benefits of.